The community gathers to remember the life of former KBTX anchor Joe Brown. Plus, 2 young adults used knives to steal money at a local gas station. And we'll let you know what Santa was doing here in the Brazos Valley this morning.
Local, trusted. This is News 3 at 6 on KBTX.
Family members and friends paid their respects to former KBTX anchor Joe Brown during a memorial service. Joe was diagnosed with cancer in February and passed away last week. During his time at KBTX, he anchored more than 4,000 newscasts. Throughout his career, he also worked for the city of Bryan and the former College Station Medical Center, to name a few.
Joe was an encourager, and he was encouraging and comforting those around him, even to the end.
The way he treated everybody, he always had a smile for everybody. He always said hi to everybody. And as Crystal said, he was an encourager. He was optimistic. He was always up.
And while we're all going to miss Joe's encouraging words, his infectious smile, and that huge belly laugh, Joe was called, and I'm so thankful he was prepared.
If you missed watching our live stream, you can find it attached on our website with this story. Joe Brown was 56 years old. College Station police say they quickly found 2 young men after they robbed a gas station early Friday morning. According to police, the pair walked into the Circle K store on Harvey Road around 6 o'clock on Friday morning. Police said they were wearing masks and threatened the clerk with knives. They were allegedly able to get away with some cash, but not for long. Police were able to locate 17-year-old Deron Adams and 20-year-old Gentarian Brimsey at an apartment complex less than 800 yards away from the store. Both are from Natchitoches, Louisiana. They were arrested for aggravated robbery. This afternoon, a fire broke out at Globe Life Field in Arlington, causing smoke to rise from the top of the Rangers' new $1.1 billion home. Around 2:30 this afternoon, the Arlington Fire Department located and contained the fire in the upper sections of the stadium. Officials said there are no reported injuries and the cause of the fire is currently under investigation. Because of this incident, it's unknown at this time if the stadium will still open on schedule this upcoming March. A shooting at a mall in Georgia turned the holiday shopping rush into a panic this afternoon. Shots were fired at a mall just outside of Atlanta. The gunfire happened after a verbal altercation in the food court. One person was rushed to the hospital with a gunshot wound, and the gunman got away. It took police several hours to clear the mall. A number of shoppers barricaded themselves in hiding places. Now the search continues for the suspect. Today marks 7 years since one of the deadliest mass shootings in modern U.S. history. On December 14, 2012, Adam Lanza opened fire on the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. 20 children, all 6 or 7 years old, were killed. 6 adults also were murdered, including 3 teachers, a principal, a therapist, and a psychologist. Lanza shot and killed himself after the rampage. The House of Representatives is gearing up for an historic floor vote on impeachment expected next week. Kenneth Craig has the latest.
President Trump stopped in both locker rooms before the Army-Navy football game in Philadelphia on Saturday and then participated in the coin toss. Back in Washington, House members are getting ready to vote on whether to impeach the president on 2 articles the Judiciary Committee approved along party lines. Friday, President Trump fired back at Democrats after the articles, abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, were sent to the full House.
You're trivializing impeachment. And I tell you what, someday there'll be a Democrat president and there'll be a Republican House, and I suspect they're going to remember it.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham spoke about impeachment at a weekend forum in Qatar.
This thing will come to the Senate, and it will die quickly, and I will do everything I can to make it die quickly.
House Democrat Madeline Dean of Pennsylvania reflected on the historic moment.
It feels like a weighty responsibility. Hopefully once in a lifetime, but it also feels like an extraordinary privilege to be able to stand up for this country, to be able to stand up for the Constitution.
Next Thursday marks 21 years since a Republican-led House approved 2 impeachment articles against President Bill Clinton. He was later acquitted in the Senate. Kenneth Craig, CBS News.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has been coordinating with the White House over a likely Senate trial. McConnell says the president will not be removed from office. We are less than 2 weeks away from Christmas morning, but some kids in Bryan got to visit with Santa early. It was the annual Breakfast with Santa at the Neal Rec Center. Kids got to enjoy a nice breakfast, arts and crafts, and pictures with Jolly St. Nick, of course. Organizers say it's always a joy to give kids and their families such a special moment during the holidays.
I think it's important just to get the kids out, get them here, get them back to the rec center. They come during the afternoon for after school. This is a fun day. There's no tutorials today. It's just straight fun today.
Toys were given away as well. Many of them were donated from McDonald's and from the community. And if you or your kids are wanting to see Santa, you can enjoy some donuts with him tomorrow morning. St. Nick will be at the Shipleys on Villa Maria from 9 a.m. to 11. Mr. Claus will be handing out donuts and juice boxes to children. Shipley's will also be accepting donations at those times, which will go towards the Salvation Army. Well, coming up in weather, we could see some big changes in the forecast as early as tomorrow. And see what someday could help farmers make important decisions in this week's From the Ground Up.
It's all about people, it's all about home. Working together, loving our own. From country roads to our city streets, it's the neighbors we love and the new ones we meet. KBTX, the very best we can give. We're here where you need us, here where you live, seeing life the way that you choose. Oh, yeah. News free, this is your news. KBTX, it's the time that we share. It's for you, it's for me. People who care, Brazos Valley, this is for you. News free, this is your news.
You're watching News 3 at 6 on KBTX.
Artificial intelligence helps machines work and react like humans, and while ag experts don't see any day soon when a machine is able to run a farm, there is huge potential to help with management decisions during a growing year. Shel Winkley has more in this week's From the Ground Up.
Artificial intelligence is really about making better decisions, and it's taking massive amounts of data to help identifying trends and patterns that a human would not be able to see. So this is all based on making day-to-day decisions. And what artificial intelligence can help is helping prepare a decision that then still is going to be made by the farmer.
Claudia Ressler is Director of Agriculture for Microsoft and says precision farming is an area where artificial intelligence plays a super important role.
It's about variable rate seeding, so where do I plant what and how much and which seeds, to running a farm during the year, right? Because not every crop is developing in the same way, so you want to make day-to-day decisions on how much fertilizer, how much water is needed where, or like I said before, you want to prevent diseases or pest outbreaks.
Ressler says that while technology like milking machines and tractors with computer systems have been around for a while, artificial intelligence can help you get more value out of it.
What's still sort of lacking a little bit behind, today we use technology 101 for one farm, and you get limited insight because, like I said, artificial intelligence is about reasoning over massive amounts of data. So to truly get value out of it, you want to have a cluster of farms using it. You want to be able to run analytics on more land so you can learn and train a system that's self-learning, that is able to foresee things that are going to happen instead of acting sort of based on what had happened in the past.
I'm Shel Winkley, looking at Central Texas agriculture from the ground up.
From the Ground Up is sponsored by Producers Cooperative, proudly serving agriculture since 1943.
Changes are coming back to the forecast as early as tonight. We're watching for the development of a little bit of fog. That means moisture is returning, heat comes back, and we're watching our next cold front as it rolls through on Monday. We've got all the details right after this.
News 3 weather from the Pinpoint Forecast team is sponsored by the Bank and Trust. Local bank, local bankers. And now, local weather.
It was a pretty quiet day here weather-wise. You'll notice, though, that temperatures really made it pretty warm. We were sitting into the mid-70s here in Bryan College Station. You look a little further down towards the south. That's where we have some of that 90 and 80-degree air bottled up. But just wait till tomorrow. We're actually going to see a little bit more of those warmer temperatures headed our direction. In fact, for tomorrow, the record high is 84 degrees, set back 95 years ago in 1924. And this is where we are going for. 84 degrees is your forecast high for your Sunday. And I think we can make it there, if maybe not just a little bit above, depending on how much sunshine we can see throughout the day. But regardless, this is your temperature spread. We're waking up in the morning into the upper 50s, and you're rebounding back up into the mid 80s. Cold front comes through Monday. You'll notice that temperature spread isn't quite as large, 64 degrees to 66. It's because that cold front comes in the morning. And basically what it's going to do is keep your temperatures falling throughout the day, tumbling into the 50s, I think, for a good majority of your Monday. And then overnight, you're headed back down to the mid and upper 30s starting on Tuesday morning. From there, the outlook starts to look a lot cooler. You'll notice your daytime highs sit into the mid and upper 50s. We try to get close to about 60 degrees by Thursday, but it's your overnight lows Wednesday morning and Thursday morning that we'll have to keep an eye on, because I do think a light freeze and a little bit of that frost is certainly going to be possible as we head towards the middle part of this next week. This morning, or I guess in the morning I should say, is when we're really watching for a little bit of that fog to develop. So watch how this moisture returns, and as it does, your dew points climb back up close to about 60 degrees. That means your air temperature can only get that cold, and basically it saturates it and allows you to get a little bit of that fog developing across the area. I think it'll be widespread, but I don't know that it'll necessarily last really long, because winds are going to be picking up as well. That's going to help mix out some of that fog, and temperature-wise, it's headed back to the mid-80s. Factor in a dew point into the mid-60s, it's likely going to feel a little bit more muggy out there. But we do have a couple chances for rain. A few isolated showers possible late tomorrow afternoon, but the bulk of the rain really does come in as we head towards your Monday, and then even later in the week with the second cold front. Unfortunately, though, I just don't think we're going to see a whole lot of higher rainfall totals as these systems pass us by. So we'll call it a 40% rain chance for your Monday. Again, isolated showers certainly possible tomorrow. We'll be quiet for a couple of days, and then by Thursday and then into Friday, there comes that second cold front, and it may spark up a few isolated showers as well. As far as the severe outlook goes, most of that severe weather expected to sit well off towards our east. But for our far eastern counties, really along and east of I-45, we're going to be watching for the isolated chance that we could see a quick thunderstorm. I really don't think we're going to see much in the way of severe weather, and this is why. Watch as we went through your pinpoint forecast. There's that fog tomorrow morning. It clears on out of here. You get a couple of these isolated showers popping up with the heat of the day, but then there comes your cold front coming together, bringing in a little bit of rain. But notice that time. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. We just don't have the sun to come up to provide a little bit more of that fuel to see those isolated storms popping. So you'll notice down towards our southeast, that's where you start to see it later in the day. Cold front's already through here. And really, as we progress throughout your Monday, that is really when most of those storms will likely start to line out and likely become a bit more organized. So again, a few isolated storms, but I really think it's going to be just a drippy day as we head into your Monday. Low to mid-60s is where we sit this evening. Winds out of the east at about 6 miles per hour. If you do have plans to be out and about, things look very comfortable. I think as we're kind of headed in towards the middle part of this evening, temperature-wise, we're back into the mid-50s, and that's pretty much where we're going to hold steady as we head into overnight. Again, back into those low to mid-50s. Here comes that fog early tomorrow morning. Could be dense in some spots, but I think most of that dense fog comes in as we really are in through the overnight hours, so most of us should be asleep as that happens. Fog clears on out of here tomorrow morning, and then temperature-wise, it's just going to be a warm one. We're headed back for the mid-80s, and I really think the mid-80s is about where most of us are going to sit for your Sunday afternoon. But again, big changes coming our way this week. We've got temperatures dipping back down into the 50s for a good majority of the week, and then as we look ahead towards Christmas Eve, which is finally on that 10-day forecast, we are going to be monitoring for a little bit of rain. It looks like we got another system that might come by just in time for Christmas.
Not going to be a white Christmas here. I was up in Hearn today for a Polar Express story, and it felt more like spring than December time.
It does, unfortunately.
It's all right. We'll take the pretty weather, though, for now. So thank you very much, Erica. Well, coming up next in sports, here from Aggie basketball coach Buzz Williams ahead of their Holiday Hoops matchup tomorrow. Plus, Dimeboks basketball rolling through the early part of their season. Those highlights and more after the break.
Sports is sponsored by Allen Honda, corner of Southwest Parkway and Highway 6. Allen's got your Honda. From the KBTX Sports Center, News 3 Sports starts now.
Focusing on themselves, the Aggie men's basketball team is back at Reed Arena on Sunday for the first time this month to take on A&M Corpus Christi. Head coach Buzz Williams says progress within their own team is what he's looking for. The Aggies are coming off a 60-50 loss against Texas last week, a game where A&M could not quite get a rhythm, something they'll be looking to do against the Islanders. They are 5-1 all-time against Corpus Christi. But Buzz says they have not spent much time looking at this opponent, instead focusing on what the Aggies need to do well as a team.
We haven't spent as much time on Corpus as we typically would, because I don't want to continue to give time/energy to an opponent when we are completely aware of what's preventing us from giving ourselves the best chance to win. And so we've spent all of our time thus far, other than just a little bit here or there, on what we need to focus on.
The Aggies and A&M Corpus Christi will tip off at 5 p.m. That's following the women's game tomorrow at 1. Now, before college football bowl season kicks off, it's the 120th meeting between Army and Navy. Army would strike first. Christian Anderson showing patience, then he keeps it from 5 yards out to end an 18-play, 78-yard drive. Black Knights up. In the second quarter, a much quicker drive for Navy. Malcolm Perry breaks loose for a 55-yard run. That's Perry's 20th rushing TD of the season. Then Navy takes the lead right before the half. Just the second pass of the game and the first for Navy. It's a trick play. Chase Warren finds Jamal Carothers for 6. Second half, Navy dominated the ball. Malcolm Perry seals it in the fourth with a 15-yard touchdown run. Perry had a monster 304 rushing yards on the day, a new record for this game, and Navy breaks their 3-game losing streak to Army, winning 31-7. High school hoops. Dimeboks hosting their tournament championship game against Mumford. Opening half, Mumford's Charles Lockett drives to the basket. He goes off the glass, gets the hoop and the foul. Lockett scored 11 points in the game. Dimeboks answers from deep. Blake Scott buries the triple. Longhorns would lead 39-19 at the half. Scott finished with 21 points. Third quarter, Raven Moore going to work. He hits the turnaround, getting 2 of his team-high 12 points, but just wouldn't be enough. Mason Spacek connects on a 3 from the corner. He led all scorers with 22. Dimeboks beats Mumford 62-43. In other boys' scores today, Bryan won their consolation championship in Montgomery over Katy Taylor 77-60. A&M Consol takes third place with their 81-52 win over Waller. Snook beats Brazos Christian in the Thorndale tournament. Anderson Shiro comes up short to New Waverly in the Centerville tournament title game. In girls' scores, Snook with a couple of wins today. Lady Blue Jays won their tournament at home. Centerville beats China Springs 37-31, and A&M Consolidated finishes up the Alito tournament with a win. It was that time of year with all these high school hoops action going on. A lot of tournaments around the state.
A lot of tournaments going on, and big win for Navy today against the Army. That's a fun rivalry game every year to
Definitely, see. Of course.
Thank you very much, Tyler. We'll be right back. Let's take a quick look outside our Live On Network. Here's Texas A&M.
Fog is expected to develop as we head into the overnight hours. That comes with the return of moisture. That also keeps your overnight lows a little bit on the warmer side. I think the mid-50s is where most of us wake up. And then we are headed back to the mid-80s as we head into your afternoon hours. It will be humid. It will be sticky. We could see a couple isolated showers Sunday afternoon, but I think most of the rain comes through on your Monday with those temperatures falling throughout the day.
Big warm up tomorrow and then cooling back down again. That Texas weather up and down all the time.
Big roller coaster.
All right, we'll stay tuned to that. Thank you, Erica. That's our report for now. Thanks for joining us. Hope you'll join us again tonight at 10.